from the IT industry. While they are bringing up the slides, I thought I'll introduce myself. So I spent a lot of my career in the IT. Spent time transforming a lot of businesses as part of my career, right from McDonald's to Motorola's in the beginning in US. I spent about 7 years working there. Then spent about 4 or 5 years working in HCL Technologies in India. There again was part of a lot of ERP implementations that we were doing for global companies. Then I also spent some 4 years of my time dealing with manufacturing and retail, healthcare industry, working in Infosys for about 4 years in Hyderabad. After that, I had a stint in Australia. I was part of some university transformations in Australia, then Telstra, Telco, and some banks in Australia. Came back in 2015. I've been working in a small startup called Sunera Technologies. I spent 8 years there now. So we grew about less than 100 people to more than 2,000 people. Got recently acquired. We are part of Sutherland now, so I'm representing Sutherland Global right now. We want to call ourselves as a Sutherland digital company, trying to help all the customers transform into the digital technologies, right? So, and chief technology officers as well, and some digital officers around the globe. Maybe this is not from the context of India, right? So this is coming from a little bit of a global context. The reason I'm saying this is, when I look at India, I think we are far ahead when it comes to digital technologies and digital transformation. So when I go to the global CIOs, talk to a lot of these global corporations, I see that they are way behind in terms of adopting, digital technologies. So some of this might sound a little old school for you. What I'm trying to share is, how do we approach, right? So if today we have some of the leaders who interact with the leadership team from the global organizations, I also see some young leaders who are looking at transforming themselves into advisors for the customer. So when I play that role, this is about, what do I observe in the market? The reason I say accelerating is there's no need for all of us to go back and start talking about digital transformation. This is more about how do we accelerate. We all know that there are enough technologies, right? So what is the real essence of digital transformation from a customer perspective? How do we accelerate? Everyone is talking about digital transformation from last 5 years, or if I look at the industry, this conversation has been happening from almost a decade now. So, in terms of, digital transformation, we talk about IoT, we talk about, we heard from healthcare industry, they talk about, how do you use blockchain in different areas, generative AI, right? So, what is digital technology? Is it innovation? Is it cloud? Is it AI? So, in true sense, this is nothing but, integrating different digital technologies in different business areas is in essence what we call it as transforming into digital technologies, right? Digital transformation. Why do we do that? While there can be different purposes, from my experience, I see the sole purpose is to transform the customer experience at the end of the day. Whoever is your end user, whoever is your end customer, am I transforming their experiences? That's the core essence of it. What does it take to do that? When I say we, the organization of ours or our customers' organization, it has to be operationally very agile. Operational agility is very important. When it comes to the digital transformation, cultural change plays a big role. If the culture of the organization doesn't change, the transformation is not going to happen. For any digital transformation, the key to that is disruption. What is digital disruption? What is the key to the digital disruption we are talking about, right? this is a busy slide, but don't want to bore with all of this. But what I'm trying to say is, mindset is the most important aspect. It's not the technology. Technology can be evolving, technology can be always implemented, but do we have the right mindset to deal with the digital transformation? So what do I mean by that? So if we look at the history has started several examples. If we, from a leadership perspective, don't have the mindset to adapt for the changing world, right? If we say, hey, I know what I'm doing, I'm the best in this industry, I'll continue to do that, that's not going to serve. So Sony is the best example in the history. They were the number one in Walkman or Discman, you call it. They are no more there in that industry. So similarly, how so many examples, when we talk about digital transformation, a lot of people say, hey, I have implemented some mobile app and we are a digital company. So implementing some bolt-on applications here and there doesn't mean that you have transformed, right? So you got to be bold. When I say you got to be bold, you got to look at the larger picture and have I really transformed the company, or I have just plugged in few things here and there, I'm calling that, I've transformed. So these are few things when we meet the CIOs, we speak about, are you as an organization ready to deal with the digital transformation? Is your team prepared? Do you have the mindset to deal with it? So disrupting yourself is very important. Are you ready to disrupt yourself? For example, we all know Netflix. They were dealing with DVD once upon a time. So they disrupted themselves, got out from what they were doing and moved into streaming business completely. So if they don't do that, so sometimes when you are dealing with digital technologies, you should be ready to disrupt yourself, get out of what you are doing. Maybe you have to completely adapt to a different technology or a different way of doing business. So are you ready to disrupt yourself? That's also a big question. So these are few basic rules. I don't want to bore you guys with all of them, but I can share these details. Then how do you drive this digital transformation? So this is a big question everybody would ask. Hey, we all know about digital transformation. How do we deal with it? So we have different technologies in the industry. Everybody talks about what is the way of handling. So how do you take this technology? How do you harness them for what you want? When you harness these technologies, if you have an operating model through which you take all these technologies and drive it in your organization, the end result at the end of the day, you're looking at either your customer experiences have changed, you have reimagined the customer experiences, or you are looking at, am I bringing more efficiency into the way we are running business? So the end result, you are bringing in efficiencies into what you are doing. So these are the fundamental two outcomes. How is this different? So we all know if you are in IT industry, any transformation you talk about, people say three things: people, process, and technology. These are the three areas that you need to address, right? So that's a slightly old school when you're dealing with waterfall methodology or pre-digital era. When it comes to digital era, my experience says we have to deal with 4 Ps. What are those 4 Ps? People, of course, are important. Process, of course, is important. What is getting added? It's not just technology. Whether the technology has been transformed into a platform, and whether the platform is being used in our organization to harness the experiences of different customers, different people, different best practices from different implementations or different way of technology adoption. I am not trying to use or create or build from scratch. Is there a platform that I am adapting where it is giving me the best of the experiences from everybody into a common platform, and that I am harnessing for my organization? So similarly, partner ecosystems are very important. If you are serving somebody on the digital transformation era, what is your role as a partner? Are you listening to what they are saying, or you are servicing them, or you are enabling them? So the partner becomes very important. So on the 4 Ps, a quick, on a people front, we talk about the way agile teams are set up. How do we transform people from an hierarchical model way of working to collaborative, agile way of working? That becomes very important in the digital transformation era. When it comes to traditional way of processes, we define standard process and say, this is how my organization would work. These are the best practices that we have. No, that's not going to work in a digital world. You need to build a system or a process which is always ready to change, always ready to adapt, be very dynamic. So you need dynamic run books, not the standard operating models. So the mindset is very different when you are dealing with digital technologies. Similarly, if you have a product mindset, I need to build something, I need to develop something, that has to change into a platform mindset. Anything that you build once, or somebody has built it. How do you make sure all those experiences are coming into the platform? You are not creating same thing again and again. How do you take a platform approach? That's very important. Last is, we are all, majority of us in India in IT industry are in the service provider side of the organization, right? That mindset of providing service has to change. We no longer are providing services. Am I partnering into their transformation? When I say partnering, are you advising them? If they don't know, are you telling them? You are not there to listen to what they want and deliver what they ask you. The way of servicing customer is no longer there. Are you partnering? Are you delivering outcomes? Are you telling them what to do rather than doing what they are asking you to do? So that mindset has to change. So these are the 4 P's I would like to share, are very important in my experience. It's not coming from any book. These are coming from the experiences. So last but not the least, I would say, what approach I need to take? Some part of the screen you can't see, but what I'm trying to say is, automate, migrate, and innovate. This is a continuous cycle in any organization. You keep automating things, then you keep migrating things into cloud, then you keep innovating. When you are doing all these things, the most important aspect would be, are you looking at modernizing the technology stack? And when you are modernizing, are you considering the customer experience as the central piece of it, right? People keep asking, how do we do this? So while this is a very busy slide, what I want you to remember is the ABCD part. You can't see the D here. First, focus on automation. There is an important part from a big data perspective, cloud, and then last comes your digital process automation, right? So ABCD is more focused on the automation. You can always call it as application modernization as well, along with automation. The customer experience is most important when you reach, so the timelines can be different for different customer. But these 4 elements of focus are very important. What you achieve at the end of the day is automation, giving with, am I transforming as an organization into decision-based organization? So the data, your decisions in the organization should be driven by data, not by your experiences. So that's how we should be looking at, even from a customer experience perspective. You cannot assume based on what your experience is. So the most important aspect in digital transformation is shred your experience. What happens is, when you deal with senior leaders in the organization, when you are conversing, the more experience you have, the more your thoughts get crystallized. So the more crystallized thoughts you have, there is a danger of these crystallized thoughts becoming ego. Hey, I have been doing this in the past. This is the only way it works. So in digital transformation, the most dangerous people are hippos, I call them. Who are hippos? Highly paid persons in the organization. These hippos stop you from thinking in a different way. They think what they know is the best. They think what they have been doing from last 10 years, 15 years is the best. That's how most organizations have killed themselves. I was listening to this jeweler story, right? He could transform the way he is selling jewelry in the market. If he was continuing to deal with the jewelry market based on his father's experience, his grandfather's experience, would he be able to achieve what he has achieved in 2 years? Would not be possible. So you've got to change from that hippo mindset, adapt to the new technologies. I can go on, but I will stop here. We can converse during the break sessions. I can give you a lot of insights of dealing with particularly these hippos, and that's the most toughest task. And if we have to deal with them, are we ready? I think the most important question is, how am I as a leader? Am I ready to shred my crystallized, experiences? Am I ready to shred my egos that, hey, I have been in this industry from 15 years, 20 years. I know what I'm doing. You don't tell me how I should do. If we can shred our egos, keep that open mind, we will be able to look things beyond. And digital transformation is all about looking things beyond, right? Thank you very much.